Oh,
I just remember that. And I often like equate that to people who come from like extensive circumstances or who are poor. And I often wonder how poor they really were because all I have to do is bring that memory to the forefront and I remember that fear.
just the memory of being without water for a couple of
Yeah,
days.
it's it's serious. Like that's a serious fear. And like being poor is the same. Like if you've ever been really poor, and I have for a lot of years. In fact, I am poor now, but I've been poorer than I am now. And I can easily remember how that feels. And I wonder about these people. Do they consciously forget? Like I can't imagine being I've been no, I have never been in the lap of luxury, but you have.
Yeah, but I worked to get there. It didn't just come to me. I had to work like
Well, is it
a lot.
different for performers? Because, like, mm,
I don't think that it's the same. I had to work 10, 12 hours a day every day for years to get rich. Yeah. Like you just
yeah,
have to pour everything into it. You never know what your money's doing. You just know you have money. And then if you got a hanger oner there spending your money.
I don't know because I watch them and their wealth is unimaginable. When you get to the point where you can fly to New Orleans for a special dinner, or you have a yacht, waiting in Santa Barbara for you, that's
Yeah.
being really wealthy.
Well, yeah. Yeah. I gotta move.
And
Boy.
I can't think that
Stream.
if I were that person and could take that yacht if I would not buy it in the first place. I just and
I'll tell you.
I
Hmm.
certainly wouldn't be
I'll tell you what. Like
I don't
I was in the situation. Like I got a lot of money in my late 30s. Mm,
yeah,
late
I can
30s.
remember. Yeah.
I had enough money that well, it was easy. You could take a vacation whenever you wanted or whatever. But the point was is that like if you're working full time for it, it's not the same. I swear it's not the same. I'm trying to get the
Well,
offset right
do
on
you
this.
do you mean that these people who are I don't know, take an
Like
example.
work. Hold on, I'm trying to get my mic synced with my lips. I
Yep.
think I'm. No, it's amazing because it's offset very slightly. Hold on, just let me do this and I'll see what it's gonna say. I think it's -2. -2. Hey, I'm back, baby, baby. Yeah. Okay. um. Okay. So being a musician and having to tour is not the same thing as working full time. It's time that you waste doing something, right? Like you're on a plane, but your actual time you put into like when you go out on stage, that's work time. Like you're working, right?
Suppose that's the way you would look at it if you were a musician.
But
The
I
way the
mean, I
way
mean, they're taking their plane ride, and like Taylor Swift is like, I'm on a plane for 9 hours going across the country. That's no, it's not. It's not. That's not work time. You're thinking of work time like lazy people think of work time. Like that's what lazy people think too. Like I'm driving to work, so I'm working, or stuff like that. No, you're not. You're not actually working. You're the time you put
Yeah,
into
but if you
doing something
okay,
straightforward.
take another person like beside that, right? Which would be Joe Rogan. And the way he talks about getting to work is I'm in my car driving on the way to work. Like those are his exact words.
Yeah, but Joe Rogan has his head on his shoulders.
Yeah, exactly. And a work ethic. Like he
Yeah,
has
no,
some idea of
there's a difference. Yeah, no, and if you don't understand the difference, you'd like from my point of view, I mean, when I was doing art and making money from art, there was a difference there too. Like,
You worked really hard
well,
though at
I
art,
did, but it
Steve.
wasn't all work. There was a lot of free time where you were building up like the energy to do the work. And I understand how people can mistake that for work, but it's not.
Okay.
It's just
Okay.
residual energy. You can literally do anything during that time. You can read, you can do all the things you can't do when you're legitimately putting in work. And yeah, it's there's a difference. People are lazy nowadays. Like I'm not judging people for being lazy. I mean, whatever, right? If you can be, go ahead. But they are. They're lazy. I mean, I would do work if I wasn't in constant pain. Like it's painful to do things. Like really painful. Like the doctor was like, "How painful is it to do things?" And I was like a 7 out of 10. It really
Yeah.
hurts.
Mhm.
And it just
Yeah.
wears you down. You're like an eraser that's being rubbed against. You can do 2 hours and then you're just exhausted. You can't do it anymore.
Yeah, and for me, it's age that has done that, right? Like I can, yeah, I couldn't work a full day if I wanted to. It would literally kill me.
Yeah, I know. I know. There's different factors there. You've also got like issues with mental health that cause that too, like where it butts against you. You have anxiety, social
Yeah, I
anxiety,
think
and all
a
that.
lot of people don't understand, but mental health is a grind, and it doesn't grind at your body as much as it grinds at your,
It's the same. Like it's the
yeah,
same
your
thing
emotions.
when like people like if you say that like you're in pain and that's why you can't work, they're like, well, just
Exactly.
take an Advil, and I'm like, this is past Advil.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
this is
no, it
this is where the doctor prescribed me morphine so I could get through the days, and I didn't take it because it hurt so bad. My muscles would clench, and I could feel the muscles clenching, and it felt worse than actually being in pain. It was so bad. I literally had to walk off trying to get away from my body because I can feel all the muscles pushing and pulling, and just like you can feel the pain, you just can't feel the pain anymore, and it's
yeah, that's right.
worse.
Yeah, that's
It's
right.
worse
Yeah.
than the pain. It's
Yeah.
bizarre. It's
And
yeah.
and I've known people who live with pain like all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Too many people. Like I often wonder if that's my life curse is to be surrounded by people that I care about that are not well.
No, I think you were
Yeah.
born into a poor family. That's all poor families.
Yeah.
All poor families live with this. Like, if you're poor, I mean, we were poor, like really poor. Not just hey, we're poor. We didn't have K and D kind of stuff. We didn't have like lunch boxes or drink boxes or something. No, we were poor. We were potatoes every day, fucking poor as hell. And so you have to work from when you're like
Yeah.
6 and 7 years
Yeah.
old.
Being really poor
Yeah,
is spreading your food so that it lasts over a month.
yeah. And eating
That's what
leftovers you
being
don't want
poor
to
is.
eat. Eating stuff
And
you don't want to
being
eat.
poor means you can't be choosy about what you eat.
Yeah.
You have to eat what you can afford.
Yeah,
That's being poor.
the 15th time you're eating potatoes, you're kind of like, I would like something else, but you realize that that's because you can afford potatoes.
Exactly.
Like that's
Yeah,
what you
that's
can afford.
exactly right.
You can eat potatoes or die. There's your
Yep.
choices.
Yep.
Potatoes and water.
It's why that guy on TikTok goes to older recipes from the 1930s and 40s, and they're very simple ingredients,
Oh yeah.
but they're combined like 10 ways to Sunday.
Hmm.
It's because that's all people have as just staples:
Oh yeah.
sugar,
Yeah.
flour, baking
Yeah.
soda,
That's the cheap
like
stuff.
just the
Not
staples.
anymore, but yeah.
Right? And the thing about it is that everyone knew how to cook. You didn't have people from the 1930s or 40s or 50s saying, I don't know how to cook. Everyone knew how to cook. It was part of your life training
Mm-hmm.
to the point where you had home ec in school that taught you how to cook, how to
Yeah.
sew, how to do basic things like knitting and crocheting. If you really wanted to learn skills, you could learn how to tap, and that got you into the fact that you could tap for, like, you could take a rich person's pillowcases and make them really pretty or monogram them for money.
Yeah. Oh no, no. I know. I understand. Like I get. Okay, so what happened? What has happened in the world? I think is that people just lose. If your worst time is that you were like your worst memory, you hear about people's worst memories being like their dog died, they got teased in school. This isn't bad. Like you have no idea what real awful things are. It's why when people who like when the African American culture talks about really awful stuff like being afraid for your life every day, yeah, I know that. Like I'm aware. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people in our like in really poor white people feel like know what that feels like to be afraid every day. Like for your life, not just just afraid you're not going to get something, but actual like a fear of being killed. Like that's a whole different kettle of fish. You just get inured to I don't know. You just get
Yeah.
inured to fear. Like you don't care anymore.
Yeah, and you learn to be really careful not to put yourself in situations like that. You
Well, I
learn
mean,
not to
yeah,
drive,
no.
you learn not to drive 50 miles into the bush without an extra can of gas.
That wasn't my like that wasn't an option I had, so I just learned to be um I learned that if I went out anywhere and I left my house or I left safe spaces where I was pretty well, there were no safe spaces because my father would try to kill me too. So, I mean, you'd leave basically some comfortable space, and then you had to go out into the world, and people would you just had to be aware that if push came to shove, you better be pushing.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Like you better
Hmm.
be able to protect yourself. Like always,
Absolutely.
like there
Yeah.
was no if you threatened me when I was like in my teen years or in my early 20s, I would have beat the shit out of you. Just no question. Just
Yeah.
like the minute it came out of your mouth, I'd be on you, just beating the hell out of you, because I wasn't going to give people a chance to do anything. I mean, that's stupid. That's how you die.
Exactly. Yeah, no, that's exact. Yeah, the movies where you see people and
Yeah, that no,
there's a
that
give and take of verbiage and that kind of
trust
thing, that
me.
doesn't
That's
happen in real
no.
life. No.
There was no like
Yeah.
high noon is a fabrication. Trust me. If anybody lived through those ages, it was because you shot the person going out the saloon door. You just didn't care.
Absolutely.
You were like,
Yeah.
I'm not going out in the
No, it's
street. You
that is
want to
a
go out in the
truism.
street? I'll
Yeah.
shoot you in the back coming out the door. Like
Yeah.
you've threatened me, and this is like that's the end of it. And you did that because that's survival. It's a whole different kettle of fish. Like I would never glorify it though. I think the worst thing about rap music is that it glorifies that bullshit. There's nothing glorious about it. Like that's
No, absolutely not.
it's
No.
heinous and petty, and you were an awful person for doing it.
Yeah,
But it's
quite the
how you
opposite.
survived. I mean, I realize it's how I'm like 40 now, but I mean, if I wasn't like that, I probably wouldn't have been 40 now. I would have just cacked it at some point in my 20s or
From a
taken.
cultural
Yeah.
standpoint, I find it just as perfidious when white people glorify the use of drugs. Like, I just, because there's nothing glorious about taking drugs.
No, there's
There
nothing.
just isn't.
No. There's a, there's nothing
Like,
glorious about doing anything to survive. Survival is not a glorious thing. It's something you have to do. It's what
no, that's
fascinates me
true.
about shows where
That's very
people go
true.
out and try to survive for money.
Yeah.
Survival's not about money. You just
No.
like survival is about the fact that you are weighing your Do I want to live like with enough fervor that I'm going to survive? That's what it is. That's all it is. Survival for money isn't survival. That's something else entirely. It's funny because you can call very interesting, very interesting. Um, but yeah, no. At some point, though, you get through life and you see enough of it that you realize that I don't know. I have a real problem with our culture's inability to realize. I guess it would be overall like the danger of things, right? Our It's so weird. Like global warming is one of those where you get incessant nattering on each side of it. Like you get nattering from one side, nattering from the other, and everybody's like, I'm right because this is obviously happening, and then you got like people who are like, well, it's not happening because there's like a whatever, and we've got this is a cooling climate and it heats up, and bullshit, 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 right? Like I hear it from both sides. The point is, even if there's a chance it's happening, it's probably better to just face it head on, right? Just be like, you know what? It's been really hot lately. Maybe we should consider, oh, there's carbon in the air? Well, maybe we should consider doing something about that and not letting that linger. Not letting that shit get worse. I mean, that. And then people are like, well, how can we do that without sacrificing our globalist economies and our capitalism? And I'm like, you do it because you'd have to think of someone else. I think that's what it comes down to, is survival is complete isolated thought about yourself. Like you isolate down to you. You're just gonna survive. It's all about me. You put pressure on yourself to get through it. All this stuff. It's not about thinking about anybody else. And I don't know. People have kind of taken that mentality and then just put it into everything. Like they're like, oh, I'm selfish. Like there's no reason for us to clean up the oceans with gigantic plastic islands. Well, there is for every other person living from 100 years from now, right? Like,
Exactly. Yeah.
like all those people don't want your fucking plastic. They're like, fuck you, plastic man. We're going to be called the plastic men of the past, I'm pretty sure. The plastic people, sorry. Women will be involved too, because you buy a fuck ton of plastic as well.
Yeah.
I mean, oh my god. Like, come on. The best thing that I've seen that's happened is not paper straws, because paper straws are fucking gross. Like, I think Japan has it right. Give people a fucking metal straw. You lose that metal straw and you gotta pay the government for another one. I'm fine with that. It's paper everything. Paper bags coming back. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, me too. Yeah. In
You know,
fact, I didn't realize how wonderful they are. You can use them to write on or
yeah,
scribble. You
I
can
love
put
paper
them to line
bags.
your compost.
You know what the best thing about paper bags is? They're not fucking plugging up everything. You can fold them up very small and layer them.
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah,
they're
there's
not
another
every
thing. Yeah.
fucking place in your house. I hate plastic. Plastic is the worst invention ever. Plastic is also a byproduct of our incessant need to propel our asses around by tooting out oil explosions. Like, if we get enough explosions out the anus of our car, we can propel ourselves 70 miles an hour. Good for you. I mean, sounds great. Buy a fucking bike. Oh, I don't know. Whatever. This is getting way off topic, but it irritates the shit out of me.
We generally do.
I know. My problem with the human race is that there's. You know what my problem literally is? Is the need to go. Nobody needs to go 150 more miles away from where they're born. Like, You don't really need to. I mean, people like to. I mean, there's a difference between what you like to do and what you need to do. Generally, in the past, is what happened is your father was a blacksmith, you were born to a blacksmith, you learned to be a blacksmith, and you took over his business. Or
That's
if you
true.
were a
Yeah.
woman, your mother was a
Yeah.
seamstress or whatever. There
Hmm.
were female blacksmiths, so shut up every feminist ever. Okay? They fucking existed. And yeah, your daughter can be a blacksmith too. Nobody was like, oh my god, women blacksmiths. Blacksmiths were so rare, they didn't care whether you had a monkey blacksmith, okay? You could have a small gerbil blacksmithing and people would buy shit from them, so shut up about it. Jesus. But generally it was a male occupation.
That's
Just
true.
like generally seamstresses were women. Like there were male seamstresses too. They just were rare because it was dainty work for people with small hands. Fucking feminists. Good Jesus. Okay, the reason that some jobs were made for women is look at these. Look at these muggy fucking hands. I can't do dainty shit. Men with big hands can't do dainty shit. Like, oh my fucking god. Some things are just done because they're easier. It's for expediation. It's not like sexism. Ugh. Yikes. Okay, anyway. Don't get me started on feminists.
Okay, so my song, the song I picked, the song I picked is as my quote unquote old classic song is Sam Cooke's "A Change Is Gonna Come,"
Mm, of course you
1964, and it's a soul
fucking
song.
did.
Huh?
Of course you fucking did.
Yeah, I mean, these are my top 10 going down. Like they'll
Oh,
de-escalate instead of
oh,
escalate.
oh,
Yeah.
oh. Okay, this explains a lot.
Hmm.
Sam Cooke actually wrote A Change Is Gonna Come.
Yes, most of the songs you'll find on my list are done by the original artist. I tend to not.
How
I don't like
dare you?
sequels. As a rule of thumb, I don't like anything but the original. Like
Yeah,
if someone says, "Oh, there's a movie coming out and it's based on a book," I go and read the book and don't watch the movie.
I'll tell you something. Those fucking Aunt Jemimas that
Mm.
don't have Aunt Jemima on there. I'm not buying your syrup without Aunt Jemima. I love that fucking lady. It tells me that's good goddamn syrup.
It really.
Never
Wow.
mind. That has nothing.
Okay.
Mm,
Right then. Mhm.
not trusting your goddamn Stardew Valley
And
fucking
I
sunshine over
realized
the hills
something.
bullshit.
Wow. I realized. Wow. I realized as we go along doing this that um, it's really hard to talk conversationally about facts. Like, I mean, you can sprinkle them in. I mean, there's a few ways to do it. You can just get it out, get it over with.
Sprinkle.
Hmm?
Sprinkle your fucking facts.
Yes, or you can sprinkle it like through conversation. I don't think I would think that if you were probably, oh, yeah, when I
I
think of people who are from a young generation, I usually think of your children. And I'm wondering if your children have ever heard a change is going to come.
I mean they
And
probably heard some warble and bitch do it.
oh,
I'm
uh,
sorry that was unfair. Um
well, I
some
guess.
ne'er do well. Let's put it that way.
Mm, okay, because like I looked into people who've covered it, and a lot of people who covered it, I mean, that makes sense. Of course, they would cover it.
Ugh,
People like
it's
Aretha Franklin and Otis Redding, Solomon Burke, Bobby Womack, those people were like in the trenches during, the civil rights movement and that kind of thing. Um, John Bon Jovi.
so you're saying getting out of the 60s is where it starts getting rough.
That might be. Hmm, I don't
Also
know.
also
The later people who covered it would be the Fugees, Terence Trent D'Arby, Um,
Ugh.
y- uh,
No.
John
No.
Bon Jovi. Like I'm just
No.
like, what?
No, John
And
Bon Jovi knows nothing about that song. Like if you're doing a song it's that's like this, it's because of the lyrical content. No.
yeah,
He's got no
yeah,
fucking clue. He's John Bon Jovi.
yeah, and it's like its musicality is based on either like African spiritual or it's based on, Porgy and Bess, that kind of Broadway
I thought
orchestration
I thought
type
it
of
was
thing.
based on like hymnals like Amazing Grace.
Okay, I mean, sure,
I mean, it rises and falls in that way.
it does. Yes, no, I
I
agree.
mean, I
Yeah,
could be wrong. I don't know. I'm talking on my ass, but whatever.
I'm just saying, like, wow. Amy Winehouse, I have heard her version, lacks flavor, is what I gotta say. It's not.
I mean, a change did come
The Rolling Stones,
too soon.
um, oh boy. Some of these people, like, I just have problems. Mm, well, okay, that, I guess that would be like another idea for a podcast. You could, um, do a podcast called quote unquote Under the Covers and discuss, take a song and then take the people who covered it
Oh,
and
you go, girl.
say who did a good job of the cover.
I'm leaving that to you. We can do that for a podcast episode. We'll do greatest covers
But
and ne'er do well covers.
but
And,
perhaps I should just say that the person that I enjoy doing the change is going to come
well, I hope it's
is
Sam
Sam
Cooke.
Cooke.
Well, yeah.
Like, I really like it warms the cockles of my heart. It's intrinsic to my listening experience to have Sam Cooke sing that song.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's a thing.
Yeah.
It's a great song. I got no problem with the change is gonna come. It's a great song. Is
Um, I like here's something I didn't know. Um, Sam Cooke's 18-month-old son died. He drowned,
hmm.
and I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I
he's
guess that's kind of an aside. But the other thing that always kind of, I don't, oh, I guess I could go back and like say that my mom was the person who introduced me to Sam Cooke. And I was going through a really rough time, and my mom, like, music would just start popping up. My mom would go and buy me albums.
because
And
she knew
that's
it
one of
made you
she
happy.
bought me Buddy Holly,
Mm-hmm.
and she bought me a Sam Cooke.
Because she wasn't gonna
And
buy you Pink Floyd. She told me that.
oh, she loathed Pink
Oh yeah,
Floyd.
she fucking hated rock and roll. So you got 50s R&B.
And she didn't exactly care for Elvis either.
No, she thought he had no rhythm.
It,
He didn't. She was right.
yes,
If you listen to his music, he had no rhythm. It's amazing. The one thing everybody says about Elvis, he didn't have any. His backing band had to follow him around like a goddamn dog during songs. Um.
yeah, I guess
Anyway,
that's fair. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but yeah,
That's
no. She told me.
incredible.
She told me about buying you albums. Yeah, because she knew it made you happy.
It did. Yeah, she realized that the thing that I loved the most was art. So she would buy me books, and the thing of it is that my mom was such a special lady that she bought me things that were close to her heart. Yeah, in hopes that they would make me happy.
Mm-hmm. It's a great. It's great. Yeah.
And I
She's
remember her
a good
saying
singer.
that she remembered when Sam Cooke died, and that it was during part of that time when people in the early 60s started to die of quote unquote mysterious circumstances. Marilyn Monroe being one of them,
Yeah, Marilyn
Sam Cooke being
mm,
another. Sam Cooke was shot
by his
to death.
father.
No, no, that's Marvin Gaye.
What's that? That was Marvin Gaye. Okay.
Was shot to death by, man, hold on. Um, in a hotel room in Los Angeles.
That's right. Yeah. There were a
And
bunch of those during the 60s. Holy
yeah, and
cow.
that's in 1964. And he was 33 years old. Like that is
Mm-hmm.
far too young for, someone to pass away. And
Yeah.
yeah,
I agree.
I've
Yeah.
often thought about that. I mean, you can look into it. It's kind of it's a smarmy tale, but of the reason that he died, but it's also kind of hinky if you look
Well,
into it, and
if
you'll
you
be like, yeah,
now, here's the thing though. If you look into most of that, like people would be like, well, that's like the KKK or something. If you look into most of the stories behind those, you'll find one commonality. Usually something to do with the FBI or the CIA.
well, definitely Maryland, yes,
No, no, most of them. Most of the deaths, even early in the 60s, even people who were just black artists coming up, like it was basically government pressure. Like a lot of it was done. Oh boy, there is weird shit in the history of the 60s where the Black Panthers were a group that were growing. Even in the early 60s, they'd started to kind of coalesce. Part of there was also other groups of black power groups, like not like black power as in like black power, but just people who were trying to coalesce like a community to support black people in black
yeah, no, I
neighborhoods.
agree, yeah,
Which fair enough. I mean, Watts was kind of run down. They were looking for support for their community, and there was a lot of rundown communities at that point.
my thing of it would be if he were assassinated or he put on a watch list or anything like that. I mean, in one way it would be understandable. He was very popular at the time, um, because he did like these wonderful romantic ballads, and he had
Mm-hmm.
a voice like an angel. He literally could scale, like in minute scales. He could scale up or scale down. Like oh, he was such a great vocalist.
He was, yeah.
But like a change is going to come didn't chart. Like it has only become in retrospect a really really classic song.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it wasn't like it's not the kind of song. It's basically a mildly political anthem for black people, which
Yes,
was usually when people found themselves like being getting death threats and stuff, which is bizarre.
and I always thought it was amazing because it pertains to all people who feel an injustice or yeah, it
Yeah. Yeah, I
yeah,
guess I guess that's true. I mean, you feel it in the lyrics. It's
yeah,
amazing.
hmm yeah,
Um well,
with an element of spiritualism, which I really love.
the
Yeah.
change did come eventually. I guess there you go.
Yeah. Was it the change that we foresaw? No,
No,
absolutely not.
but then again,
I
yeah.
watched I watch Twitch nowadays. Not I We don't have TV. Stuart and I don't have
Oh, fuck
TV.
TV in the ass.
So I don't watch YouTube because of the videos and for other reasons. But I do watch Twitch streamers play games I love. And one of the Twitch streamers I was watching the other evening had a question from one of his viewers who was like, "Why? Why?" And this person was um, asking in a serious intent kind of manner because some of the words were capitalized. And he was like, "Why would Elon Musk buy Twitter?" Or, yeah, buy Twitter. And the streamer's answer was a wonderful one. He's trying to make the world a better place.
Uh,
And that upset the person. Like
well,
it
I
upset
mean,
them. And
yeah,
I'm like,
because they like the
And he's like, well, you ask. Like, I'm giving you my honest opinion. You ask.
Fair enough. I don't know whether he's trying to make the world a better place. I think he's trying to um, allow free speech to be free speech. I saw a YouTube short by somebody I used to respect. I
Okay.
used to respect them. I don't respect them anymore, but I used to.
Since like how soon has that changed? Like,
Hold on. I gotta pause this because it'll get. I gotta go. I got. Hold on. You might hear the YouTube shorts in the background. What the hell is his name? These YouTube shorts are very interesting.
I don't like
He's
them.
part of those two brothers. The one wrote the Alaska. God damn it. He wrote children's or teen novels that were kind of popular. There he is. Hank Hank Green.
Okay.
Hank Green. He's sitting in a car and he's talking about how people complain about free speech, right? And he's like, you have the freedom to say what you want to say. What you want is for your like that speech to be free from criticism. And I was like, that's disingenuous. Like that's really disingenuous. Like that's an argument that's oh my lord.
No,
When
I,
people say stuff like that, I know what they're saying. They're saying, I have a liberal mindset. I'm allowed to say
oh,
what I want nowadays, and I don't get backlash, I get support. If you don't have a liberal mindset, though, you need to like, what the hell was Trump banned for? Being snarky with people? He was banned from social media for being snarky. That's incredible. Like, that's
Elon
all it took.
Elon Musk said something that wasn't Elon Musk or Joe Rogan. It was one or the other. No, it was Joe Rogan, and I think he was speaking on behalf of Elon Musk. I'd have to look it up. But he said something that kind of hurt my feelings, um, or that made me feel sorry for Donald Trump. He said one day I had 22 million followers, and he said the next day I had none. And I was like, how how is that possible? And he was like, I was still a sitting president of the United States. And I'm like, yeah,
Because that's the allowance. Like there
yeah. And
you
how?
can
How is
like
that allowed?
the argument like like what I've realized these people are missing. Like they're missing the they're missing what people have always missed when you oppress another person. Like you oppress an idea, and when you speak from a place of power and complacency where your ideas are allowed to flourish,
Right.
not
Yep.
realizing that when people are complaining about free speech, they are literally just complaining about being allowed to say anything moderately political about
Yeah.
anything. Like
Yeah.
I know like the thing is I don't give a shit. Like you can take anything I've said and put it out there. I'll back it up unless I was wrong. Like if I was factually wrong, fair enough, right? But if you're asking for my opinion, those are my opinions.
Yeah. Exactly. And you have to realize that there are countries where people, before anything comes out of their mouth, they're already through a strainer,
Well,
right?
yeah, no,
Their
it's
words are coming through a strainer.
so what
It's not coming directly from their heart or their mind. It's being filtered as it comes out. And that to me is not free speech.
no, but like the like what this is what I think. Like this is my opinion. What I think Biden's America wants to be is China.
Yes.
They would like some way of putting social pressure on you for putting out any idea that isn't okayed by Biden or his cronies or whatever.
Yes, but in the meantime, they have cities like Portland, Oregon that are literally slums, where
Well, yeah,
they said they had an influx of. I was listening to a fellow the other day, and he said they had an influx of almost 2 million people into Portland who came there with, and I'm guessing
yeah.
that they've done studies and that kind of thing, but people who are drug addicted
Oh, yeah.
flooded into Portland to the point
Mm-hmm.
now where working people have to. This man was talking about his mom who works in a bank, and he was like, "Mom, I want you to buy a gun. I want you to buy a gun when you go to work because she is literally being accosted away from her car to her work."
I'm sure.
And he he's afraid for her. Like he's afraid for her safety.
Well, he
And
should be.
I'm like,
Portland.
this is a person who is working, who
Donna.
has a job,
Donna.
and they're walking to their
Donna.
workplace.
Donna. You can't foster that environment and be upset that you got the environment you fostered.
Yeah, but he didn't vote into it.
He did. He's part of a community of people. If you don't want a governmental hellhole that fosters drug addiction and horrible people, like you need to start on a grassroots level and be like, this is wrong. I don't support this. We need to like get a group of people together to vote differently. Get rid of your mayor. You know, all these
I
things.
mean, he has a platform, and almost daily he tries. He does
Oh
what he
boy,
can.
yeah, no, but you're like years into this. Like 10 years ago, they were like raving about how great Portland was.
Yeah, they like they did a like part of his podcast is commenting on um affairs that are daily or that are relevant to, to to life today, and it's horrible to see what
I'm
has
sure
happened
it is.
to because I've been to Portland, Oregon, and it was a beautiful city, gorgeous.
It
Like
was
I
a
can
hippie
still,
city,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
You've like
not anymore.
yes, this okay, so what people need to understand, this is the basic tenet, okay? So all these people who support communism and socialism, the basic tenet is that you don't raise everybody up to a glorious scale of high living. You
Yeah.
raise everybody down to a really low median.
And does that mean along the way that you like fall into disrepair and decadence?
Because you don't. Okay, communism works because you believe that is an oppressed class in your society, and I can hear myself echoing again. There's an oppressed society, and you have to get rid of that oppression. The only like what happens is everybody, like anybody with a mental instability or an axe to grind, bleats really loudly about being oppressed, and if you believe them, you are just like you're basically creating anarchy.
Yeah, but my thing of it is who is literally oppressed in our society these days?
Nobody. Not in our
In North
society.
American society. Yeah,
Nobody.
that would be my answer.
There's
There
nobody who's
is no
oppressed.
one. Yeah.
There's mental, like there's the mental oppression you leave upon yourself, but it only exists in as much as you're willing to lean into your lean into your mentality. You can raise out. It takes work, but you can raise out of it.
Hmm. Yeah.
I don't know. People be
I,
crazy.
I don't know. If you have a problem, you literally have 30 answers at your fingertips. So pick one of them.
Who knows? Anyway, okay, a change is gonna come, and
Yeah, well, that was about all. Oh, you mean my quote unquote new classic?
Hmm.
Okay. I remember you listening to a song by the Lumineers. Um, and it wasn't Hey Ho, it was
Oh God, what is that song called? Ophelia.
Ophelia. And thinking that that man had a pristine, wonderful voice.
He does.
He really does.
Only in the studio.
Oh,
This is important. You listen
oh,
to him live, it is a disaster.
oh, oh, that's frightening.
But yeah, on the
Okay.
album, it's beautiful.
Mm. Well, okay, I picked a song because I listened to the album because you were like, you listened to Ophelia basically back to back over and over and over again. And I was like, this song isn't getting worse. It's, maintaining
It's
a
really great. It's
wonderfulness.
a
I'm
great
not
song,
so
yeah.
sick of it, I want to regurgitate. Like, I still really like the song. So I went and listened to the album that it was on, and I found a song that you also like, I know, called Cleopatra.
Cleopatra's wonderful too. It's
And
right
Cleopatra
before it.
is a wonderful song because it speaks to me. It's part
Oh,
of the
I
things.
know it does,
Yeah,
Donna.
it's part of like my ideology and my belief about life. And yeah, and it yeah, I really like Cleopatra. I think it's a wonderful song. Um, not as earth-shaking or as classic as a change is going to come, but I think like for 2016, it's a really, really good song. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. No, I think Lumineers. I think that album has a 5 song suite that's really good. You don't want to go any farther
it
than
does.
that.
Yeah, it's so I agree with that. Like that is my yeah, the album that it comes from. What is the name of the album that
I
it
don't
comes from?
remember. I'm looking here.
Oh,
The
you used to know
Lumineers
more.
and the album's called Cleopatra apparently, but Sleep on the Floor, Ophelia, Cleopatra. I don't remember the gun song, Angelina and In the Light. It says the gun song's on there. I don't remember that on there, but anyway,
It's not a great song. It's okay.
those 3 songs are quite good. Angela's pretty good, and In the Light is good, and then this is
Mhm.
just filler. It's an
It's just
EP.
filler. Yeah. I was hoping it would be as because it's the songs, both of the songs, Ophelia and Cleopatra, are impeccably produced. And I was, yeah, I don't had big hopes for the whole album, but yeah,
I think
those two songs are stellar.
I think I
Cleopatra.
think the great thing about it is that it really discusses what it's like to be young before you
Mm-hmm.
realize that your decisions have consequences.
Yep. Yep.
It's that period where
It's
you
what I
don't
like about it
realize
too.
the
Yeah.
consequences of your decisions, and then you move through life and you realize that every decision has a consequence that has a consequence that has a consequence.
Yes, that's
It's
exactly it. Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah. And I love the way the lyrics show the progression of that. Like it's wonderfully written as well. The lyrics are wonderful to it. Yeah. Hmm.
I love that I won't be late for this, late for that, late for the love of my life. When I die alone, when I die alone, when I die, I'll be on time.
I'll be on
That
time.
that's a
Yeah. At last.
that's a
I
great
like the way
lyric.
he prefaces the very end at last. Like
Hmm.
I'm like, yeah. Yeah. It's a great song.
You
Yeah.
were that you were late for the love of your life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I know. Sad.
Yeah.
You should have just stayed up north. Never mind me. My parents, they were crazy. Our family was insane.
We had yes, we had an interesting family. Yes,
I
we
have
did.
no idea what they were thinking, leaving a 5-year-old with an old man in a house with no heat. But that's a decision that was made.
Mm.
It's
I
insane.
I don't know. I just about like I can remember my heart leaping into my chest
Ah,
when my mom.
you
I was
should
like,
have
"Where's
stayed up
Stu?
there though.
Where's Stu?" And she was like, "I left him with your dad." And I was like, "What? What? What?
Wow, was it cold? It was cold, man. Holy
What?
cow. I
You have
remember
what?
arguing. I had to argue with a lady about. She left me with $100 bill, and I had to argue with that lady about food. Where did you get this $100 bill? And I said, it's mine. It's my
That's
$100
amazing.
bill. Give me my groceries.
Yeah,
And I was
that time, you were never the same again. Like yeah,
no, no, but that's because I was pretty sure I was gonna die,
yeah,
and like I was pretty sure Dad was such a fucking moron anyway. But he was in no condition to do anything.
no,
And
no.
I was just like, yeah, if they don't come back, this is it. Like, and I was like,
You
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 know
should
what,
explain that.
I'm gonna
Mm,
fucking buck up. Like, that's what I did. I was like, we're gonna die because we have no food. And I took my $100 bill down there, and I was embarrassed, and I went in there and I bought what I could, and I gave her
yeah,
that $100
well,
bill, and she gave
5
me
years
flack,
old.
and I was like,
Like
you
I
know
was
what,
like, what are
this
you
is
thinking?
my money. Take my money, give me my groceries, and give me my change back. And I said, you give me the right change. And I counted it out. Because
Yeah,
I was good at math even at
yeah.
5, and I counted out. She tried to short me $20 too, because that woman was a.
What?
Oh yeah, she tried, and I was like, that's $60. That's not 80. You owe me another 20. I was like, give me my money.
Wow.
So I brought that back, and whatever.
You have to explain that my father was quite a bit older when he had Stuart and Matthew, my two brothers. Um, yeah, and that he suffered from
Oh yeah, rheumatism and
advanced arthritis.
arthritis, and yeah.
Yeah,
But
and on top
he
of
was
that,
also a malinger.
I know that, but he was a World War II veteran,
He
and
was.
he had episodes during the
Oh
winter.
God,
Just let
and
me get finished.
hmm,
He had episodes during the winter of malaria, like the malaria that he had contracted when he was in the Pacific Theater in World War II would come back. Not every winter, but every other winter, or every 3 winters or whatever, and he would get really sick. And my mother, oh boy, my mother was left with the, I don't know, unenviable task of going 1,500 miles up north to with a U-Haul to pick up what was left of our things to complete our move to the Caribou, because we moved from underneath the Alaska border to the middle of British Columbia. And yeah,
yeah,
it was, yeah. I don't know. I
it's
mean, like
no,
she
no.
didn't, like if you want to put it in perspective, I don't know what she would have done. Like
Oh, I knew what she would have done. Is what I told her when I was 5 to do. Leave the old fucker up north. We could move it down and then take him at the end, and nobody was willing to do that.
yeah, I don't that's because there was money involved and my mother was never allowed to handle the money.
Oh, what a load of shit. Anyway, yeah. So that was a debacle.
Yes, yes, to put it mildly. Yeah.
Anyway,
Anyway,
it's okay.
yeah,
And
the
you know what?
water
You know
under the
what?
bridge.
It puts hair on your chest to be almost killed by your family when you're 5.
Uh,
That's a that's a way that's a way to get hair on your chest.
well, I guess I mean to be fair, it wasn't the last time.
No, and I am tougher than old Wang Leather, so there you
Yes,
go.
yes, he is. Yes, yes, he is.
I may look like a doddery old man, but
No,
when
really
push
not.
comes to shove, I'm yeah.
He's pretty tough. Yep. Yeah, my brother's tough. Yeah.
But you got to do stuff like that to get tough.
I don't
You don't
think
get
I'm
tough not doing that.
I don't think I'm tough. I just think I'm a hanger-oner. I'm like I used to have that poster that was huge during the 1970s. You don't
It
see
was
it
a
anymore.
great
And it's a
poster.
little cat and he's hanging on by his claws.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a sign under or it would be a meme today, but it says "Hang in there, baby." And
It
yeah,
was a great poster.
that's
I think
that would be me.
Donna has forbearance.
I do.
That's
Yeah, I have
something
a
that
lot.
I don't have. I don't have a lot of forbearance.
I do. Yeah.
I know it's why I swear it's why you and I are siblings. Is because I've got all the like I'm
Yeah, the
able to
strength.
push the shit out of the way, and you're
Yeah.
able to forbear all of the.
Yeah.
It's a good pairing. We're just siblings.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're well
Yeah.
matched in that when things go wrong, I can fix them, and when you need to like put up with stuff, you're really good at that.
I am. Yeah. Yeah.
It's a thing. Anyway,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
no,
strange.
I
That's
I
a strange
agree.
thing
I
about them.
knew I played this for you one time and you didn't really like it, and I was like, but this is so your song, Donna.
What, Cleopatra?
Cleopatra is your song.
It is my song. Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
couldn't understand why you didn't like it. I was like, this is your song, Donna.
I do really like it. Yeah.
Good
I
for
do
you.
really like it. Yeah.
I like Ophelia, but they're both great songs. They're great songs. Like
Yeah, they are great songs.
wonderful
Yeah.
songs. So great that they make the rest of the album look like utter dog shit.
Yeah, they should, and they're even like the single that they picked from that isn't the single "Ho Hey" on there, and it's
No,
a
no,
good
that's off
song.
their that's off Lumineers,
Oh,
Lumineers.
okay. Well, yeah, not as good as those songs. I mean, "Ho Hey" is not as good as
I
Cleopatra or
I
Ophelia.
think what they did is they did Sleep on the Floor first as the teaser single, and then Cleopatra, and then Ophelia. Like they knew which
Oh,
ones
okay,
were good. They sacrificed Sleep on the Floor for the other two. I think
gotcha.
that's what they did. I might be wrong. It might have been Cleopatra first too. Great song, so.
Okay, so I went from I chose a political song, a really great, huge, towering political song, and I chose a song about me. So, what did you choose?
Kid about you. Okay, so what did I choose? I chose Me and Bobby McGee, not by Chris Christopherson, but by one lady named
Oh,
Janice Joplin,
yep, that would be the one. JJ. I always call her JJ. Yeah.
off of Pearl, which is sadly her only album with a proper backing band.
Truth.
That's so sad.
Truth.
She had one album with a band that was as good, well, almost as good as she was. A good session band.
Who would be? I always thought that it would be cool if Paul Butterfield or someone like that would
Mm-hmm.
become her backing band. She would need a really great backing band.
Well, she became popular from Piece of My Heart
Yes.
and then
Hmm.
died in 1970. So that's 68 to 70. That's 2 years.
Yeah. Janice was like you barely skimmed the surface of what Janice had to offer because she was a really good songwriter.
There's a huge back catalog though. That box set has a lot of her early stuff, like
It's
a lot of
wonderful. That
rarities
box
and
set is
stuff.
wonderful.
It's great,
Yeah.
but one album that was really great. A lot of great live music. Sad.
Yeah.
Anyway, what I liked about it was the fact that Chris Christopherson has that. His Me and Bobby McGee is like this mournful, like, oh, tear in my eye, Bobby McGee, and hers is like, you know what, we really rip shit up.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That is amazing. Now, see, that's an example of someone who knows
Mm-hmm.
how to cover a song, and
Yeah,
Janice did.
yeah.
Yeah.
Her version also. It needs to be pointed out that Janis Joplin had better timing than any other singer I've ever heard, ever.
Yeah, to the
She,
fact where
mm-hmm,
she could just start like she was like Keith. She could just start a cappella.
mm-hmm,
Any song that came off the top of her head, she could do in key and
in
on
key,
pitch
on pitch, in
immediately.
rhythm.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, exceptionally great singer. Always on
exceptional. And the
exceptional.
other thing
Yeah,
that is really hard for singers to do is to infuse emotion. And Janice had no problem with
yeah,
that.
but
Like
that's because her
none
her
whatsoever.
voice her
Yeah.
voice was like that, like it had that crisp, like off kind of, like it had like the sour note in it that was really
Yes.
great, like a
Yeah.
really pretty voice with like the sour kind of quavering nasally note, but if
Yeah,
she
that's
pushed
right.
from her
Yeah.
diaphragm it broke, like her
Mhm.
note, her
Yeah.
voice would break into, like it had a really it had a burr when she pushed, and the burr was incredible. So she'd
Mhm.
save like that big push for
Mhm.
like it's that whole part at the end of the song where he's like me, and then and it call him my lover, and it's all in that broken voice, and call him my friend, and call him, you know, and it's all that up tempo. The band. Now the thing is, if you listen to the outtakes from Pearl, she sang that in the studio with the band.
Yes.
Like she was in a booth, they were in a booth. It was
Yeah.
all like it was live basically. It's a live performance because you can listen to the outtakes from the album and hear them doing them live.
Yeah.
Incredible. So they start to do like this shambling kind of CCR thing at the end, and she can skip right from that whatever she's doing to be like me and Bobby McGee. She ends the lyrics, and then they go into like the CCR finale outro thing, and she shifts right with them, right on top of it, and she starts just riffing on the line like "Call my lover, call my friend," and over top of this in a different rhythm, just right on top of it, and it takes her what, a second to realize what they're doing and be right with them.
Yeah.
Incredible singer.
Yeah. Yeah.
The
Amazing
only
singer.
singer
Yeah.
I've ever heard as talented as she is probably Van Morrison.
I
Like,
agree.
like
Yeah, I agree.
I don't care. Otis Redding, no. Janice was better than Otis Redding. Like you can hear it.
I I
She
think
is
people
on
I think when
point
people
all the
talk
time.
about people like Otis Redding and Aretha Franklin and Sam Cooke, you have to realize that they spent thousands of hours singing.
Doesn't fucking matter. You're talking about raw talent, man.
Yeah, no, that's
You're
true.
talking about
Yeah.
the skill
Yeah.
to. The other thing I noticed with Janice, and this was when I was listening to her, because I was listening to other songs, because I got interested in Pearl as an album. I should
Yes.
I should bring up Pearl as an album. Hold on a second. Let me go to Janis Joplin. Oh, excuse me. I got the burps.
I I guess I should mention that I think that Columbia didn't do Janice any favors. There are rumors that she was really unhappy with Columbia, and I don't think I blame her.
Well, I
The
mean,
way the way that they were trying to make her, like they were trying to shift her from someone who did raw blues to, um, yeah, more like Mamas and the Papas, where she would be like Mama Cass. And I'm like, no, just no.
well, okay. So what the thing is, these albums, right? I got the old Cosmic Blues Mama. None of these
Oh,
albums, like her thing at Pearl was an attempt. I think Pearl was an attempt to give her the things she wanted. They gave her the back catalog Columbia. So Crybaby and Get It While You Can are old. Well, they weren't old at the time, but they were standards that
yes. Hmm.
were in Columbia and Abco's back catalog.
People
Like,
need to understand that record labels like Atlantic and Columbia had songs that they bought specifically, like
yeah,
for the label, and you
these
could dip into that catalog. Yeah.
these were hits. Crybaby was a big hit. Get It While You
Mm-hmm.
Can was a big hit. But
Yeah.
what you'll notice is that Crybaby was written for Aretha Franklin's sister. I think her name was
Oh,
Emma Franklin.
right. Yeah. No, I know who you're talking
And
about. I can't remember
she's
her name. Yeah.
fucking laying behind the beat like a sausage and just drags the tempo of that song to fucking mud. And
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what, lady? Get on top of the rhythm. Like,
Wasn't her name Cicely Franklin? I want to say it
no,
was
I'm pretty sure
Cicely.
it's Emma Franklin. I'm pretty
Oh, okay.
sure.
Okay.
She has a.
I know that Aretha had a sister, who, like she became a gospel singer. And yeah, and then she made a foray into becoming moving more mainstream like her sister, but that didn't pan out. Yeah.
I think. Let me look up "Cry Baby." "Cry Baby" song. It'll have
I
her
love
here.
Crybaby.
Anyway, it was done by. I think it was originally done by. It was written and performed originally. The songwriting team were a couple of Jewish guys, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
No, apparently Crybaby was by Garment Mims and the Enchanters. Well, what is the song I'm thinking of? Maybe it's Get It While You Can, which is why I can't find it. It's probably Get It While You Can, and I got them mixed up.
I love the way that song is so amazingly sad. Like it's just incredible. I love Get It While You Can.
Yeah, yeah. This is. I'm pretty sure this is the one. Anyway, whatever the song is, I can't remember. I should have written it down. I was reading about it. Um. Anyway, she like everybody who covered it, who covers Get It While You Can, they sit behind the beat. Like they just do it. Like I don't know whether it was taken for granted that that's what you were supposed to do or the songwriters told it. But the reason Janice's version is so great is because she just rides on top of it. She's like, no,
Hmm.
this is important because when you're in the chorus for a crescendo to work, you have to either be mildly in front or on top of the beat. You can't be behind it. It
Yeah.
just drags the crescendo back.
Yeah.
So she's like, every beat, she's like, get it while you can. And can is
Yeah.
right on top of the beat and get
Yeah.
it. And while are on top of the beat so that the crescendo is massive. And it's the same thing
Hmm.
with Cry Baby. She rides in front of the beat on Cry Baby and it gives it massive propulsion. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
you have no idea being like from watching Keith sing because Keith has incredible pitch and timing. He can hit in front of the beats like and it is so like you realize the problem is that you're using a word at the same time you got to think about the rhythm and it's
Hmm.
really hard. It's a hard
Yeah.
thing to
Yeah.
do.
It is. Yes. Singing is singing well, and people don't give it enough credit. They're like, well, everyone can sing. Well, it's true, but can everyone sing wonderfully? Like, does, yeah.
No, these songs
And the
anyway.
answer to that is no.
That's what I love about me and Bobby McGee is that Chris Christopherson's version is really good, but
He is
it's
good. Yeah,
forlorn. Like it's like me and
it
Bobby
is.
McGee, we've
Yeah.
split up. It's horrible. I'll never have the
I
love of my
just
life.
always think like it's someone who doesn't have a lot of money and they're wandering, like they're sort
Yeah,
of unmoored, right, in their
yeah.
life. And they're just wandering around. I never thought about that, but that is absolutely true. Janice tears it up.
hmm She's like,
Yeah,
this
she
was one
put,
of the
like
best
she
times
does
of
a
my
lot of
life.
things. She
And
put her
she's like,
teeth
we
into
said
stuff. Yeah.
goodbye, but I'd enjoyed that time. It was
Yeah, I
fucking
really
great.
did. Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
love that about Janice is that she could take a song that's obviously like the interpretation she's heard because Christopherson wrote it right about the
Mhm.
time she covered it.
Mhm.
Like the interpretation she's got is of a man who's sad about losing his woman and all this stuff, and she's just
Yeah.
like, you know what? I'm gonna throw that interpretation right out the window.
Yeah.
Like, get the
Yeah.
fuck out of here. I got something else to do. I would love having somebody who I cared for that much in my life. Like I
Yeah,
would love it.
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's probably one of the best covers you'll ever hear.
Yeah. Oh, I agree.
Way better than
I
the
agree with
original
you too.
song.
Yeah.
And I just love it. I love it for that reason specifically. The band is nowhere as good as she is. So when you
No.
listen to
No.
Janice, people who listen to Janice, they're like they come to Janice and they're like, I know how other people sing. Like
Uh-huh.
they're wibbly and they're warbly and
Mhm.
they're like they're
Auto-tuned.
they're dishonest at a certain
Yes.
level.
I agree. Yeah.
Like they're like, oh, but it's important that I phrase a certain way on this. Like they
Yeah.
you can see the cogs turning as they sing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Janice wasn't no cogs were turning. She was fucking in that song, man.
Yeah.
She's like, I am feeling this really hard,
The
and
most
she's
amazing thing is
incredible.
that like when she perform like all of the instances that I can think of that I know about Janice from watching reels, from watching concert footage, from watching and or listening to her in studio, was she was always there,
Hmm?
always present.
Yeah,
It was a job,
and she
going to
was
do it the best she could.
happy, big smile on her face, like she enjoyed
Yeah,
it.
giggling. Oh,
No,
that
but
laugh.
it's on like it's an honest
Wow.
performance. It's somebody
Yeah.
who's singing words and they are not thinking about how to make the words sound frilly or how
Nope.
do I get my best note or how do I
Yep.
hit my key.
Yeah, yeah, it's
it's
all about
about
me.
how what
Yep.
is the listener going to hear when I'm singing these lyrics and how
Yep.
do I want them to think about what I'm feeling. It is
Yep.
an honest performance and it's always honest from Janice, and it's so
Always.
sad that
Always.
she died
Yeah.
so early because you can imagine like
She was like, people
hmm
don't know. She could play guitar. She could
piano.
play piano. Like she was, and she
There's there's a
composed.
wonderful song of her playing a typewriter in rhythm
Yeah, I
called
love that
Typewriter
song.
Blues. It's
Oh,
marvelous. And
it is.
she's just
Yeah,
plucking away on the typewriter creating rhythm. She's a great singer.
amazing.
So sad.
Yeah.
Probably my favorite singer. Janis Joplin is my favorite singer. Billie Holiday a close second.
Yeah, me too. That's
Billie Holiday for all the
the other way
opposite
around. Like
reasons.
Billie Holiday is my favorite female vocalist.
No, but Billie
Yeah.
Holiday's my like Billie Holiday is all of because her phrasing and her
Yep.
intention and the way she
And the way
scattered.
she could use her
Yeah.
breath,
Yeah, it's
and
like
yeah,
yeah, technical versus just raw emotion on both of them.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But anyway, that's
And if you listen to outtakes of Billie Holiday, same thing as Janice though. The really great work ethic, the always being present.
mhm.
The
Also,
trying.
but
Yeah.
Donna, her backing bands, like Count Basie's
Oh,
band is your
true.
backing
Well,
band.
I
Are you
mean, yeah,
fucking kidding me? If I
yeah,
like Count Basie being your backing band is like a
yeah.
boon, right? I'm like, oh, what a marvelous musician, and then he backs you up. And then later on, she got
Oh,
Duke
Wilson.
Ellington's backing
Somebody
band,
will
and
sing.
oh,
Yeah.
Jesus, like, come on.
Yeah, she had
Just marvelous
and not
musicians
only
to
that,
work
but
with.
really great soloists work with her and that
Mm-hmm.
kind of thing. Like I think personally, what I think is that people would drop a hat and just
Probably.
if she like
I
opened her
think
mouth and said, "Do you want to play with me?" Be like, "Hell yeah, I do. I'm there."
I
Yeah.
think if Janice had like you got to realize Janice went from 68 Woodstock
Yep.
making a huge splash because nobody had ever heard
Ever
anything
heard
like
of
that.
her? Yeah.
No, never heard of anything like she went into Woodstock with a band that was barely able to play.
No, that's true.
Like
Yeah.
Big Brother, like the
Yeah.
holding company were fucking atrocious.
Yeah,
They were
I
a
know.
bad band.
I know.
And she came in and she pulls. Like, listen to Piece of My Heart. You are not listening through the atrocious music and that horrible solo. You're listening to her just grind that vocal. Like, it is
Oh
incredible.
yeah.
It is like
Yeah.
astonishingly present in the moment. And
Remember when I was a
hmm,
little girl, she could actually raise the hair on the back of my neck. Like when I was a little girl.
yeah, and like I think if you gave her longer, if she lived more than a tiny amount of time, people would have done the same thing. But she, like, 2 years, that's all she got.
Yeah.
And then died of a drug overdose.
The other person that always reminds me of Janice is Amy Winehouse. Same
Yeah, but
same.
not that level of talent, not that good. I
Oh,
mean,
I don't know. I think Amy was on her way to becoming really. I
she
think
was.
I think Amy got in her own way a lot, if you know what I mean.
I
And
mean,
I think that if she could have stepped out of her own way, she would have been a superlative singer. And at times I can hear that come through.
I don't know. Amy Winehouse is one of those people. Like, I can respect Amy Winehouse's delivery and the strength of her songs on the album
Yep.
she did, and I can respect that. But it
No.
doesn't do anything for me. It like there's a part of me that wants people to sing about things that are beyond just, hey,
Yeah.
my drugs are good.
Yeah, I know
Dude's
that.
got a big
Yeah.
wang.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit. Like, I don't care. Like, I don't care. Big dicks. I mean, I'm a gay guy. I can look at a big dick and think, hey, that's a nice big dick, but I don't want songs about it.
Yeah, no, I'm the
I
same.
don't care.
I'm
I don't want songs
I
about drugs
my
and
thing of it is I think is no, I know for a fact that songs like that 20 or 30 years from now will be extinct. Like they they have no lasting power. They have no legs. 20 or 30
Yeah.
years from
Uh,
now, you're still going to be listening to Paul Simon's Graceland, and you
I
won't,
hope
you
not.
know.
I hope they don't last. I hope this is just a flash in the pan. I like the best songs that, like, if you think about it, like Get It While You Can is about loving somebody, like
Yeah,
being all in.
yeah,
Like, if you get love, don't fucking miss out. Get all
yeah,
in there. Get in,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
be present. Like, take it when you can get it because it's
It's
rare.
wonderful advice. Yeah, it
I
is.
mean,
Yeah,
that's a great song. I don't
yeah,
give a shit about big dick songs. I don't care. You want to do
yeah.
your drugs and you don't want to go to rehab? Whatever. Don't write a song about it and expect me to be impressed. I'm like,
True,
whatever. Whatever.
true,
I
true.
like the
But then there's
this is something
Gloria.
you
But then there's like Gloria's really wonderful, and
yeah, but
Fade to
like
Black and stuff like that.
they're not my favorite songs. They
Okay,
I can
yeah, no,
respect
okay, enough
Gloria.
said.
You know what Gloria does for, like, I love Patti Smith's Gloria because she finds something in that song that isn't just, hey, I'm pursuing a cute woman, but something else. She finds like a deeper meaning in there about being empowered with being a force that people will pay attention to.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah, no,
I
there's no
think
doubt about it. When
that's a
yeah.
decent message for me. Like, you put that in a song, I'm there. But
hmm
just like, hey, she's hot, so I'm pursuing her. No, I don't care. It
I
doesn't
thought
interest
I
me.
thought like here's my thing of it was Adele and Amy Winehouse were friends, and I often wondered if Glory is about Adele, and it's about the fact like because she's like, why don't you come on over something? What are the lyrics to Gloria?
Oh,
It's
you're
about
talking
it's
about
about
Amy
someone.
Winehouse's Gloria. Oh,
Yeah, no,
I thought you were.
I am talking about Amy Winehouse's
Oh
Gloria,
well,
and I
okay.
think it's just about a friendship, like about not connecting with your friend for a while. I mean, that to me, that's what it is.
Are you thinking of Valerie?
Valerie, sorry, you're right. It is
Okay, well
Valerie.
that's why I didn't know what you were talking about. Okay,
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Valerie. Yeah, no, I like Valerie.
since I come home with body smell. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying it's bad, and people can like it. I don't have any problem with that. It's not my jam.
Okay, I
It's just not my jam.
all
I'm
right
not
then. I
jamming
mean,
with it. There's no
I
jam in it for me. I don't like that jam. Give me some strawberry jam.
okay. What is your new song?
My new
And you
song,
better get under the wire properly this time.
it is just under the wire. I'm
2012,
2012,
2011.
2012. It's right on the cusp.
And you know what? I would like you to like I'm having the same problem finding one that's like
No, I
2018.
can find new songs that I love. I mean, there's a
Okay.
lot of them, but the I'm trying to find songs that are like really
Really great.
special.
Yeah. I know.
And so I chose Angel Olsen's Lonely Universe,
That's a
which
beautiful song.
is an immensely great song.
Yeah.
But also, it has a special place in my heart from beyond. Like, it's more than just the song. The song's wonderful.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
about her mother passing away. Now,
Mhm.
for years when I listened to it, I was like, "Oh, this is about oh God, it was. I thought it was about like environmentalism for years. I was like, because it's like Goodbye Sweet Mother Earth without, I'm like, well, that's about environmentalism. And then one day I realized it's about losing your mother.
Yes. Yeah.
And like, I couldn't listen to it for our mother passed away, and I couldn't listen to it for like 3 years because it
It
kicks the
tears you up.
shit
Yeah.
out of you.
Yeah.
Um, Talk about an emotional song.
Mhm.
It is
Yeah.
slow, and it's like I don't know. It has a really nice melody, but it is slow and can really lose people because it's so
Like her
slow.
lyrics are very raw too. Like you can hear it in her lyrics how raw.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's very specific. Like,
Yes. Yeah.
dude, and like I watched from far away as the ambulances came and started dressing for school. It is really like it's not like vagaries. It's like very pointedly about that. The other thing I love about it is that it's the weirdest structure. It's verse, verse, chorus, verse, 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 chorus. Now, not only is it verse, verse, chorus, is the two verses at the start of the song lead into a chorus, which is really pretty, right? Then it goes into a verse. Then it switches almost to the chorus music and does another verse in a basic like almost like a bridge, but not quite. And oh boy, oh boy, it's
She's
wonderful.
she's a really underrated artist, Angel Olsen. I think she's very talented. Yeah.
It's very simple. Her guitar is very on point, but it's
Hmm.
basically emotional. It's an emotional powerhouse too. And it's
She is.
totally
Yeah,
true.
very
You won't
cool.
understand when you've truly loved someone until after they've gone, and you don't understand that until you realize like that is an experience you have to have because you don't, and then you have dreams about them and you wake up and you're like, oh, they're back, and there's like a second or two where
Yeah,
you have to like come to terms with the fact that they're gone. You have to remember they're gone, and that is super specific, like, and incredible. It's incredible that she can put that in the song and make a song about that and make it emotional. Like, what an amazing song.
yeah, I
It's
agree.
also
Yeah.
very melodically. It's almost like um, Phil Oakes or Woody Guthrie. Very 40s folk ballad melody line.
That's an
It's
interesting thing to
it's
say, Stu. Yeah.
they have like
Hmm.
there's a simple melody line that is very long, like they're sinuous and based on
Hmm.
English folk music.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
it doesn't always cut off at the end of like a line. Sometimes it just dribbles over. It
Yeah.
great, like it's a great style. I really love that style.
I do too. Yeah, I do too. Yeah.
But I was doing that, and I chose that because it is also because um so I used to they're still alive. I didn't know Hype Machine was still around. So
Hmm.
I had no idea this was a thing. I used to be part of Hype Machine back in, well, around this time, 2010, 2012. And they used to allow you to send messages to the artist.
Wow.
Way back when you could talk, like, not like directly, but it would, like, if the artist was a nice person, you could leave them a message and they would respond. And I had two people send me their album for free to listen to, and she was one of them.
Now, what is the name of this?
It's called Hype Machine.
Hype. Okay. Yeah.
Hype
Sorry.
Machine.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
misunderstood you.
So
Yeah.
what it was is so I told her, like, she had a song on there. I can't remember which one it was off Halfway Home. I listened to it because it was on there. I think it was mm, I think it might have been Acrobat, the first song off the album, or it was one of the first three, right? And I was like, oh, that's a wonderful song. And I was like, I don't know, I just wrote her a note and I was like, I'd be really interested in hearing this whole album. And lo and behold, I get an email
That's incredible.
from her with a download for it, and it was free. She just let me download the album and listen to it. I guess it was before any like hype had been there because they're really cutting edge on what it was.
Did you tell Keith about this? Because this is very
I
cool.
mention it every once. I've forgotten what the website was called years ago. So, I mean, I just found it again. It's what made me think
How
of it.
did you find it? Like,
I don't know. Back in the day, I used to, like, what I did is I worked full time as in construction and another job. This was before I got my high paying job. And I used to work And the one thing they would let me do is listen to music all day. So,
Hmm.
you know,
Yeah,
I would just
yeah.
work and listen to music because they didn't care as long as I could hear heavy machinery and whatever. And so I would just listen to music all day. So I had to have some way of knowing what was up and coming. And I would just watch them for their popular on here, for what was getting popular. And I would listen to everything that was new and upcoming. They used to have a section where it was like, I think it was called like just released or something like that. Something that was having
They've
buzz.
got one called Latest and one called Popular.
Yeah, but it didn't look like this back in the day. It was totally different, and it
Oh,
had
okay.
tabs for like up and coming, where it was like somebody had like told the website that this was a great song or whatever. So I just messaged her, and she sent me that. And the other person I got from them was William Elliott Whitmore.
Yeah, great artist.
Was
Yeah.
that album that I really love too. He also gave me a copy of that. So I got those two albums for free from the artist. You know, they said thanks for the interest, and they just gave me a copy of the album. I don't know why. But it
That's
was amazing
incredible.
back in the day. So
Yeah.
I listened to it and I really loved it. But that song is incredible. Like this
Yeah,
song
this is
is
kind of a neat
incredible.
website. It's like it's very simple. Like the
Mm.
way it's set up is really simple, but it has like direct links to songs. That
Yeah,
is really cool.
this was like 10 years ago. This was a while ago. Yeah, and the other person was William. What is it? William Elliott Whitmore.
It says since 2005, Hype Machine is made in Brooklyn, New York by Anthony, Zoya, and Dave and is funded by listeners like you. That is
It was
really
really
cool.
good. And the album that he gave me a link to this. He allowed me to download Hymns for the Hopeless
Yeah,
for
that's a good
free,
album.
and I
Yeah.
had never heard anything like that. There's another album that's incredible, but I
Yeah,
think
really underground album that's really good. Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
it's
Yeah.
2003. It's early,
Yeah,
like, so
that's
that
yeah,
must have
yeah.
been like really early. That must have been like when they first started. They had William Elliott Whitmore, and he sent me a download for this.
Another person who's really good about finding underground music, generally in a style of like alt country or gothic Americana or um, people who are up and coming, is Carbon, like our friend from Wisconsin. He's
Hmm.
really good. Like he's turned us on to a lot of
Yeah,
really great music. Yeah.
but there, that's how I got all my really strange bands.
Mhm.
you know, I might hang around on here again. I've been looking at their
You should. Like that sounds like an amazing thing.
it's a
I see they
way.
do remixes and that,
Yeah,
and
it's a
it's
way to keep up
I,
with like what, like, not what's popular, not what's like
no,
top
no,
100
it's
on
underground music. Yeah.
bullshit, but
Yeah.
like actually like, and it's everything, R&B, rap, and what have you. You can find it on here, but it's never going to be like
I was looking for
mm,
that band that Carbon, that is like a jug band. Um, can't think of the name of it. Something about trees. Mm. And
I
they do like really great music. They do story songs
you got
that are
me,
really
woman.
amazing. They sound like a jug band, like interspersed with gospel.
You're expecting me to know what you're talking about, and I
I
don't.
do, but yeah,
I
no.
don't
Anyway,
know, girl. Anyway, yeah, there's the latest tab. You can go through here. Good website.
yeah,
They
yeah,
also
that's
have
really
like
cool.
a lot of these people are on Bandcamp, which is the one Keith's on. Keith should definitely. I don't know how you'd send his song here, but he'd be pissed at me for doing it, so I won't do it. Or maybe I'll sneak it in here and not tell him. But
Ah,
whatever, whatever. It's,
dark Nordic music. Now there's an experience.
you know what? Like, this is just, it's a good website, and I remember that. And so Angel Olsen was groovy, and I felt like I had. It's one of those things where you're listening to it and nobody else even knows it exists, and you're like, yeah, but it's cool. And then you're on the ground floor, and you're like, yeah, awesome. Then you can be the cool kid.
I Yeah,
I mean,
no, I.
nobody cares, but
Hmm.
you're the cool kid for yourself.
Yes.
You're like, I'm cool because I think so, motherfucker.
Mm.
And that's the way that goes. It's a great album, but she's gone on since they love her newer stuff. But this is the album I'll always
She
remember.
always
Angel
does
Olsen.
get critically acclaimed. Yeah, Angel
She's
Olsen.
a really
Yeah,
good
she's
artist,
a
but
really great artist. Yeah.
good freaking album. Like chunky, 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 and yeah, definitely this song. So anyway, those are my two songs. The other song I was contemplating is oh my god, what are they called? Oh god, they're called. They have the weirdest name. Black Road. Black. Please. Black Country New Road. Thank God they. Yes, Black Country New Road. And they have that album Ants from Up Here, which is a great album, by the way. Like an underrated album because it's bizarre, but it has that frickin' song. Oh God, which one is it? It's Goodwill Hunting. See, they don't recommend it on here because they're not cool enough on All Music Guide.
Japers.
They're like we wish we were cool. But it's it has the best. Let me look it up here. It's never going to be the song I want, so let's just click on this one and then go to their lyrics and then go to Goodwill Hunting.
There's another
It's
kind of.
there. It is. She had Billie Eilish style. God, that is the best fucking hook
Oh,
ever. It is like earwormy, and you'll be humming it every time you turn around. You'll be like, "Check out Billie Eilish style."
is that true?
Moving to Berlin for a little while. It's a great hook. Like, great hook. And really strange because the music is odd behind it. You'll remember it. It's very memorable. Great song. And the other song that I was thinking about that I might do later, but I probably won't, is from Spanish Love Songs, which
Wow.
um wow, which is from that album Brave Faces Everyone, which is incredible. Probably, I don't know. What is the best song on here? They're all bangers.
There's a blast from the past. Coco Rosie. I haven't heard of them. I haven't thought of them in a while.
I love it. Like there's a call and response. It's so Carbon hates them because they're so down in the dumps. And that like the call and response the song is called Self Destruction as a Sensible Career Choice. And it's
Wow.
about growing up in modern society and how you're never going to be able to buy a fucking house or even get your
Yeah.
head above water. And it's just like it won't be this bleak forever. And there's this call and response people, and they're like, "Yeah, right," and it's just like, like that's the call and response for it. And this line, thinking someday I just need a miracle, need about 30 goddamn miracles, and I'm like, I feel that
Isn't
deep in
that the
my
truth?
bones. I feel
Yep.
that. I feel that line
Yep.
more than you should feel that line. I need about 30 goddamn miracles.
Yep. Yep.
And then it's like while you say be your own god, you say you're sane, so get yourself right so we can just start again. I'm so preoccupied with my own life. I can't see the world burning down until we're living underwater. That fucking hits, man. That whole thing hits home, man. That's how you feel. You fucking drowned, man. That's modern life. Doggy paddling into the future. And if you like, the thing is, nobody'll tell you is when you get enough money, if you become like affluent, right? You pick up rich hanger oners which is bizarre, right? Like, they're hanger-oners, but they're just there to make sure that you're the right kind of rich.
What?
Nobody, like, this is very specific to having a lot of money. They're there to make sure your opinions are okay, because you will, like, my ex-wife was very upset that I had opinions that would run these people off, because I was like, go fuck yourself. Because I don't believe any of that shit. You don't have to work hard. Let other people work hard for you. Fuck that. Get good at
What?
get. I used to tell them, get good, scrub.
Let other people work hard for you. Is that a
No, no, no.
t-shirt?
This is specific, and people need to realize this. People who are rich in any society, they get there by letting you do the work. And I have had conversations with these people, and how they do it is nepotism gets them into a position of power, like some kind of nepotism. And if you don't think that's true, you're wrong, because that's how they get their jobs. Either a church, family member, somebody. They get into like a little bit of power, and then they raise up the ranks by heel hooking everybody above them. So they'll fucking talk shit about them,
Yeah.
or wheedle in, or
Yeah.
usually it involves talking shit
Yeah.
about them, but making up
Yeah.
rumors and stuff like this, right?
Yeah.
They slowly get to the top, and then what they do is absolutely nothing while they let the people underneath them do all the work. Then they shit talk those people so that they never get into a position where they can take their job. It's fascinating. I watch these people do it all the time. And I was like,
I,
the thing is, if you're good at your job, say you're the kind of person who's good at your job, you never have to let other people do it because you're good at it, right? Like it would be a waste of time letting somebody else do it because you can do it in half the time. Like, so you just do it, and then you try to teach people how you do it and expedite the process, right? Because one thing they'll also say is knowledge is power. And I'm like, no, knowledge isn't power. Knowledge is selfish power. Like, if you want to maintain an upper class position, yes, knowledge is power, but that doesn't help other people. Helping other people is more important than you living a great life. It's fucking lost on these people. They're just like, fuck that shit. I'd rather fucking get this person in trouble than, help them figure out how to do something better. It's fucking ridiculous. They're ridiculous people. If you meet somebody who's in a position of power or they have money, guaranteed, if they're not, like, there are rare exceptions of people who work hard and are good at their job and they get to their position by being skillful and good with people and, like, not a shithole, but 99% of them, you want to watch your fucking back, because whatever they're saying to your face, they're saying something different behind your back. And they will, oh boy, they are the nastiest group of people I ever met in my entire life.
I don't have time for people. I
didn't have time for it either, but they're like, they come. They're like an accessory. You get these shitholes. And it's incredible. Like, it's like they're like, you get to a certain point.
I guess my thing of it is that I literally don't have time for them. I like, my life would never consist of spending 5 minutes thinking about what they're doing.
You don't have a choice.
Because I would have other things to do.
No,
I
you don't have a choice.
Had them
they
fired.
come with the terror. Like, it's incredible. I don't know how they find out who you are. My ex-wife had them, like, up her ass 24/7, and I was like, fuck off. Like, I have no time for this shit. I gotta work. Like, I gotta do things.
Yeah.
I gotta get, like, I gotta help. Like, and the other thing is, the other thing they'll tell you, all these people will tell you, is helping the company get better isn't the way to get rich. What you do is you ingratiate yourself until you can figure out how they do it, then start your own company and try and put them out of business. And I was like, that is a fundamental belief that is against everything that set up modern society. All society was set up on teamwork. And it fascinates me that these people, and like they're like you're like, well, how the hell does this person keep their job? And then you're talking to them and they're like, oh well, my father is the cousin to, some millionaire who runs this. And you're like, oh well, you just got like instituted into a position. I get it now. It's all of that shit. Incredible. Whatever. I mean, I'm not saying that you can't do it. I'm just saying that you need to be aware that if you're reaching for that position, if you ever want to know why your heroes get like rich and then start to be less impressive than they were, they have these people in their life too. Like they're impressing upon them the fact that you can have opinions that go against this, and they're talking shit about them, and just being wheedly. I don't know what they do for a living. Well, obviously not their job. I used to have like these people who were hilarious, and I would walk into their office, and they'd be like, "Oh, I got a lot of work to do." you know, it's a rough day at work. I got a lot to do. And they'd have Facebook open on their computer, and you just say something like, well, that's not going to get work done. Like, well, if you're figuring that's going to get your job done, it's not. Like, that's not how you proceed to go through things. And they'd be like, yeah, I'm just taking time off from my hard work. And you're like, oh, really? Really? You're gonna sell me that, eh? Your troll through Facebook just started seconds ago when I walked through the door. Sure. Bunch of bullshit. It's just bullshit. They're just waiting. What they do is try and outweight somebody who will do their job. Like they're like, how much do you want to put up with me not doing your job so that you'll just do it instead? And they all do it to each other.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you fucking people suck. Like, you suck so hard. It's the reason, if you want to know why modern society doesn't work, that's why it doesn't work. It's because fucking Joe Biden doesn't want to do his job, so he puts pressure on the next person, who puts pressure on the next person. And then you've got some lackey in some office who actually wants to work, and he's doing the president's job. So it never, like, that's why it doesn't work. There you go, explanation.
Well, okay, my thing of it would be, yeah, it is the lackey doing his work because there's not much getting done.
Well, no, he can do the work that's at his level to
Mm.
basically create it. But because what happens is, if you work in these positions, what you realize is that they're not doing their job creates problems in your job because they create
Mm.
like log jams, right? So all you can do is clear the log jam from your level. Like, you're just like, well, I can clear this log jam, which looks like they're doing something, because then in meetings where they're talking about what they're doing, they take credit for the thing you did. Like, they're like, well, I was behind that. That's what I did with my time. And then when the person talks to you, and they're like friends with whoever, you're like, well, what did you do today? And you're like, well, I did this. They're secretly thinking, well, Bob told me he did it, so this person's obviously taking credit for Bob's work, because they're thick as thieves at that point, right? Fascinating. It's fascinating. Somebody told me, one of these rich assholes once told me everything's political, and then proceeded to make everything political. So I guess, if you make everything political, yes, everything's political. But if you don't, everything's not political. Like, so, I mean, it's probably what, like, Elon Musk seems to be like the person to work for, because he doesn't try to make everything political. Like, it's probably pretty nice working for him. You're like, hey, this isn't bad. Unless you're an asshole who wants to make everything political, then you're like, this fucker won't make everything political. I
Yeah,
can't.
it's kind of amazing to think about.
Hmm.
I don't
It's
know.
it's just what it
Yeah.
is. Politics, like I said before, politics are just a reason for people to fuck around. You don't really need them. You do need them because people have no self control.
Yeah.
Like, no,
Which is
nobody has any
sad.
self. I mean, I have no self control either. I have an eating problem. I mean, I realize it. I got no self control in that area, but you know, I mean, you pick your battles. Self control is important in life. You should probably start working on it early.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, that's why the world doesn't work. So if you're thinking it's because Exxon Mobil is doing something else, it's generally not. It starts with some dick who runs a company who doesn't want to work and wants to check his emails and go on Facebook, and then it's just trickle down effect. Every government has these people, and it just trickles down. Like, you can't get anything done. It's how red tape piles up. Like, you need to understand this is how this happens. It's because people.
That's the incredible
Mm,
thing about Donald Trump. Anyone can say anything they want to, but when he got into the White
oh yeah,
House,
he
he definitely
galvanized
cleared the
people.
red
Yeah.
tape in a hurry.
Oh boy, yeah.
He's
Well,
good at stepping over red tape. He's just
it's
like, yep,
it's also why every political organization had it out for him, because they're all like, I can't be lazy. They have that little like sign at the front of their desk. It doesn't say days since last accident. It says days since I didn't have to work, and it keeps on piling up under Donald Trump.
yeah.
And they're like, I need to get back to days I didn't have to work, please. Stop this
I
man.
love the way he did at the beginning of his presidency. He did that press conference where he literally signed off on things, where he's like, it's this easy. Here, you take a piece of paper, you sign it, done. Here's another piece of paper,
Yeah.
you sign it, done.
Well, I mean,
And
he
I'm like,
he gets
really?
things
Is it
done,
that?
yeah.
I think there were millions of people watching that who were like, it's that easy?
No,
Like,
Donald
it's
Donald
that
Trump.
easy. If you're the
No,
president, you just take a piece of paper, you sign it, it's done.
no. I think what Donald Trump proved was that if you actually do your job, it looks like a job is getting done.
Yeah, well,
There you
I
go.
mean,
Wow,
yeah,
what a weird concept to have.
yeah. I just like
Yeah.
I wonder, okay, because in the places that I worked, there was a boss, and the boss would come by and say, This is your job description. This is what you're expected to do." Okay, fine. So you went through a training, regimen for a week or a couple of weeks, depending on the job, and you were like, "Okay, these are my chores. These are my tasks. When I'm done these tasks, what do I do?" I'm like, "What? It's not complicated. It isn't rocket science." And
No.
then your boss, like every, week or so, would check in and be like, "Did you get this done? Did you clean those freezers?" "Yes, because you told me to."
Yeah, no, no. Yeah, that's how Donna, you're living in the past.
Mm.
This is how things used to do. Like, people people tried to help the company they were working for. It's not cool anymore. That's not what the cool kids do. Um,
Well, yeah, I'm
Whatever.
really, because my stomach right now is like, I feel
I'm
ill.
sorry. I'm sorry, but the truth of the world, like, people need to realize this, because what these people will do is do what Joe Biden's presidency does, is try and gaslight you into believing anything but the most, like Occam's fucking razor. The reason America is falling apart is
Like,
because the guy will
I just
not
don't
do his
have that
job.
much time in my life to play that many mental gymnastics.
No,
And trust me, I am
trust
not
me,
doing that much with my life. I still don't have time to do those
Occam's
mental
fucking
gymnastics.
razor. Always, like, that is every time in life where you see a problem, Occam's fucking razor. It's always the simplest reason. It's always the simplest reason. Like, I mean, unless you have like my simplest reason is usually really complicated, but
The sadness that I'm thinking of as I'm listening to you talk is how does that spill over into the rest of your life? Your children. What do you do about your children? Oh, I let somebody else look after them. Oh, I should discipline them, but I'm going to put that off for a month or two. Well, how's that working for you? Just
well,
like, how does that spill over into the rest of your life?
well,
It's disgusting, people.
it is, but also
Pull yourself up by your bootstraps and do better.
I
Do better.
I don't know what to tell you, Donna. If you like this is what happened. This is like when people think of being like affluent or something as a great thing, it's really not unless you're willing to play social manipulation games. Like it's always Game of Thrones but stupid.
Like,
It's
would I waste 15 minutes doing that? Would I waste
no, and
10
I
minutes
didn't.
learning how?
I couldn't
Would I
care
learn
less.
would
No.
I waste 5 actually doing it? No.
No,
The
cuz
answer is
I
no to
like
all of those.
I like doing my job. I like being good at my job. So I would just focus on that
Yeah,
instead
I
of,
mean, it makes me feel crummy if I'm doing a job and I'm not doing anything because I'm getting remuneration for doing nothing. And that is wrong.
that's that's the outlook of the modern world. It's like you've been sold a bill of sales. The problem with the bill of sales of modern society is that none of the infrastructure of society was built on these ideas. Nothing.
No,
These
I
ideas
realize that.
created Russia in the 30s, and you should go and read about Russia in the. Here's an idea: go and take a book out and read about what happened in Russia from 1930 to 1960. See where
Yeah.
these ideas go because it is fucking bleak.
China
Oh my god,
and
is it bleak?
yeah. Yep.
Like it starts looking like a great heyday, and the fucking gays always get on the bandwagon, and they're always the first to get fucking thrown under the bus. It is bizarre. We need gays need to get together and be like, we are no longer going under the bus. We are no longer going to support your bullshit and go under the bus. We are easy to seduce into bullshit because we don't think about it very well, and we no longer want to be under the bus. We as a group, we need to get together and be like, no, no. We are going to trickle forward into, like people don't realize, but utopia, like the idea of utopia, is not what books and movies tell you utopia is. Utopia is literally the ability for you to live a life where you are happy, not with your future predictions, but just happy with your days as they go by. That's utopia. Like
Hmm.
you wake up in the morning and you think to yourself, I got work to do and there's stuff, but you're just happy. You're humming. That's utopia. It's not everybody getting along and everybody singing fucking kumbaya. It's just millions of people waking up, humming happy songs and going through their day. Because if everybody's happy and everybody's humming their song and going through their day and being happy, you know what happens from that? Good things. Because people who are happy aren't shitheels.
Well, I mean, that's been my experience. Yeah.
So if you
Yeah.
want utopia, like go back, look at the founding fathers, look at the history of every great nation and how they started. They started on teamwork, people willing to sacrifice, treating happiness as like a thing that would come as soon as certain expectations were met. Always working to get the level of people's lives better without attempting to satiate just whims. It was always like, we need plumbing, We need running water. We need a way to stop
Bridges to get
disease,
over
bridges.
waterways,
Just
roads.
infrastructure, right? Like all
Yes.
infrastructure to make society run at a good level. And then what happens is you reach a certain level, and societies forget that the thing they were building on, because generations die and new ones come up, and they're just living in this new
Right.
utopia the
Yeah.
generation before has created. And
Yeah.
what they see is like, they're like, well, I mean, we got roads now, so why can't we go fast as fuck? Who cares? Like,
Yeah.
what are you gonna, what do you pay forward to the generation after you? Oh, nothing now. Now that you live in your utopia of stupidity, you don't pay anything forward. You're just okay with letting it, let's tear it all down and start again, because it was so fun for those people back
Well,
when who
that's
were
the
building it.
scary,
No, it
that's the
wasn't.
frightening part.
No,
Yeah.
it was not fun for people back. Nobody from the
Yeah. You're not going
1700s
to like it
were
when you get
like,
there.
fuck yeah. No, they were barely living and going through their days and trying hard to stay alive. That's what they were doing. You
Yeah.
should read history books. People need to read history. People need to.
People don't read books anymore. They
I
don't
know,
read
you know
books.
what? Listen to a podcast. Do something that involves history. And for fuck's sake, don't listen to Neil deGrasse Tyson, because that guy just fucking irks me.
Why? Why?
Oh
Why?
God, he's such a. Everything that comes out of his mouth is like, I'm gonna blow your mind. And sometimes you're just like, you know what, Neil? Can't you just be a fucking normal person?
Well, I
You
mean,
know
he's
what? Preface your sentences not with that voice where you're like, okay, get ready for your mind to be blown. But just be like, you know what? Walk my dog today. It's pretty cool about it. Took a big turd. We went to the park. Something normal, Neil. Be normal. Try and be normal.
wow.
Like, just attempt it every once in a while. I know it's hard for you because you've got a lot of media attention, but just try. It would relatability, Neil. You're like Bill Nye. You've crawled up your own ass. And yeah, you're smart enough to crawl up there, but fuck it. Just be normal. Sorry, that was a rant. I have a specific rant about Neil deGrasse Tyson that I go off on. He irks me on some level. Like, he irritates me so bad. Usually because he simplifies things and then doesn't do the simplification justice. Because if you watch more people who are in his field actually talk about specific things, the specifics are incredibly interesting, but also they don't sound like they're trying to sell you a used car. I'm pretty sure if you met Neil deGrasse Tyson in person, he would attempt to sell you a used car. Physics, man. Also, I've got a Toyota in the back. 20,000 miles, only 2 accidents. It's a deal. And you're like, fuck off, Neil. I'm not buying your car. There you go.
Okay, I'm gonna go and play WoW now.
Neil deGrasse Tyson rant over.
Yes, I looked up Gothic Americana and got nowhere. Um, I
Well, I
attempted
mean,
to find
I
that band
mean,
and could
I
not.
mean, also, you're looking in the wrong place because their album is called Polka's Dead.
What
Their album. Hold on,
is
I'll type it
Pope
in
is
here.
dead?
Oh my God, woman! Is it Polka's Dead? Polka is something.
I don't know if that's
Dude,
true or
no,
not.
no, they're really random. I'm pretty sure their album was called Polka's Dead. I can look it up on here. They don't have it in there.
I'm not talking about the polka band. I think they're called the Dreadnoughts.
Yeah, they're called the Dreadnoughts. Yeah.
Yeah, no, not the polka band.
What's wrong with the Dreadnoughts?
Nothing except their polka.
Oh, fuck you. I mean, wow.
I I everybody knows. I mean, anyone who knows me knows that polka is not my thing.
That's harsh, Donna.
I it's not that harsh. I don't like polka.
They don't even have them on here. They must be super underground.
Oh, lordy. I just I just
Get
got
over.
Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah, Bruce Springsteen is out there, and he's got a problem with your ideas on everything. So just get out of the way. He's meeting with Biden right now. They're going to senile each other into a masturbation fest. And
What?
then, no, I'm joking.
Oh, okay. I was like,
Who knows?
wow. Because like I would be avoiding him like the plague, but you
Sometimes,
know,
leftist got a leftist. I don't know. I have no clue. He surprised me, though. Came out of left field with his latest bullshit. I was like, okay, Bruce. Okay. I mean, I should have seen it coming with the ghost of Tom Joad, I guess, but I didn't. So anyway, whatever. Should have seen Bruce Springsteen coming, but I didn't. That's a beautiful painting. Okay.
I just looked up a song list on Deezer called Americana, and it's got Riptide on it.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't think
Americana.
Vance Joy's Riptide, although it's a good song,
How do you
is
know?
Americana. Like I just,
How do you know?
I, I don't, but I'm a like just.
Your assumptions mean nothing
Oh,
to no.
that's not good.
Okay, anyway. What is your good piece of advice for the day?
Sorry. Yes. What is my advice for today? My advice for today: do better. Find something that you think is lacking in your life and do better. Work on it day by day.
I mean,
Do better.
that could be shaving
That's
your
my advice.
pubes. If
Do
you gotta
better.
shave your pubes, shave your pubes.
Yeah, do it better. Do it without giving yourself a rash and needing
Oh,
lotion.
God, don't say that. I don't know. Back off, lady. It was a joke and now it's not funny anymore. I don't even want to think about that. Okay.
Yep.
What is my good advice for the day? Okay, good advice. Don't set out. You know what? If you find yourself in a position where you are sacrificing your morals to get something other than there's boobs, other than get something other than like money or something, and you're sacrificing your morals, probably just back out of that. Because it's better to have morals than it is to have money. I mean,
Yeah.
it's better in the long run. Because you're going to die. And that's when it matters.
I
If you
don't.
figure you're going to live forever, just negate that advice.
Yeah, that. I don't know. Just having morals. Just. It's not always easier, but it's definitely.
Mm. And I'm not talking about God, because one thing I did for a little while was I would go and visit people in hospices, which is a strange thing to do, I admit. But one thing I realized is people who lived a moral, upright life, when they passed away, they were quiet and they were usually sedate and would talk about things and then just stop talking and pass away. And people who'd lived immorally would scream and yell. Scream and yell. A lot. It was disturbing. It was disturbing. And so, I mean, if anything teaches you to live like with
So the
morals.
moral of your story is if you don't want to bother someone who is a visitor to your
Oh,
hospital
I didn't. I
while
like
you're
it
dying.
wasn't a bother to me. I was just like, that's a bad way to go.
True. No, that's a good point.
If I had two options and one of them was to pass away like my mother, quietly holding someone's hand and pass away, I would do that rather than screaming for your mother.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's disturbing. It's like it's something to see. So anyway, there you go. Good advice with a little bit of duck shit.
Mhm.
Do it. Okay.
And yes. Okay.
Smell it, Donna. Go and play your WoW.
I smell the Furby. Yes, I'm going to wow now.
Okay. Bye bye.
Bye.